icebreaker question today as you guys are loading in. So the icebreaker question is, do you believe leads convert better the more they engage with you slash your tools, your resources, or do they convert better the quicker you push for an appointment? Right. So it's a very different approaches, right? I'm going to get this appointment no matter what, or I'm going to focus on them just interacting with me, right? Which might take longer, right? Which one actually leads to the conversion um, better, right? So I know I had to explain the context of this question, but I was trying to think of really good ones, and I'm like, I really want them relevant and really thinking about like that because a lot of times in real estate, I was taught, you don't leave a listing appointment without the listing agreement. You don't leave a conversation. You've got to go for it because there's you may never talk to them again. You may never see them again. Other statistics, right? If you're meeting them at Home Depot and you're talking to them for the first time, it might also be the last time. So you've got to get something from them, right? You got to get them on a calendar. You got to get an appointment. And so I'm curious what you guys think. So Bonnie, you said show value. So your thought is on the second side of it, which is just, or I mean, sorry, the first part of it, which is just engage more, stay relevant with them, and they'll convert better versus, one shot. Jenny, you've done both. Which one do you feel has worked better for you? I'm curious. Barbara, I'm curious on your thoughts about this too. Do you believe leads convert better the more they engage with you or your tools, or the quicker you push for an appointment to kind of get to them face to face? Which one do you think will convert better long term? Carrie says depends on the personality of the person. I think a combo would be best. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. I mean, you have to have some end game, right? You can't just talk forever and not go anywhere. Oh, Bonnie, you misunderstood the question. It's probably I did not phrase this one well. I'll admit it. I did not phrase this one well. That's why I'm trying to explain it because I know what I'm trying to ask you, but I typed a bunch of different ways and it was just not coming out the way I wanted it to. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Further down on the appointment scheduling and close. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Like one more minute. We're still letting people in. Love them all coming in. This is why we do the 5 minutes after. It always takes people about a couple minutes to even just get connected to Zoom. I've even had problems where I'm just like, it's my Zoom. Why am I still connecting? Yeah. Welcome everybody. All you coming in. Can't admit you guys fast enough. I love it. So again, someone engaging with your tools, your resources, and so you're trying to convert them into, that appointment or like just pushing for an appointment right away. Which one do you think will lead to them saying, yes, I want to meet you in person. Yes. I want you to come check out my house for a listing or meet you and have a buyer consultation. I'm curious. Drop it in the chat what you think. Okay, Bonnie, I see that. I definitely think, I don't know about you guys, I definitely think when I first got started in real estate, it was much pushier. It was much more, you just don't take no for an answer. And maybe it's just the people I was around. It could be their confidence. They were successful. Um, but it was very, very like you push for the appointment. You don't hang up. You don't, leave without getting that appointment. It doesn't matter if they're a stranger on the bus. Like you gotta get it. You gotta get that appointment. And I'm not saying this is wrong, by the way. I think there definitely is a combo here, for sure. All right, it's 5 after. Let's get started. Um, so honestly, the reason why I asked you this question is I think, and Nick, I'd actually love your thoughts on this too, because you have a different perspective than mine. Um, is I think we're seeing a shift of skepticism becoming very prevalent in every decision that's being made. And I think that comes from the access to AI and knowing that everybody has access to AI as well. Everybody has access to the ability to deceive you and to make it sound legitimate, right? I think we're seeing that, and I think what happens is that seeing is believing for many people now. When I say seeing, I mean experiencing. I think we're shifting away from, my wife says all the time, yeah, but I don't trust Amazon reviews,
Hmm.
right? And it used to be that you would look at reviews and you'd be like, whoa, there's 40,000 4.9 star reviews, right? On Amazon. And you'd be like, this must be a good product. It must be, right? And so the thing is that now what she does when she's looking at Amazon products is she's looking for people who are demonstrating the value. She's looking for reviews that have videos and are showing the product performing the action she needs it to. In other words, solving the problem because she just doesn't trust it anymore. Right. And so I think that we're seeing this huge shift of people saying, I don't care how good your copy is. I don't care like how good you sound. I don't trust the stats. Anybody running into people who don't believe facts like market statistics and data, there's always been a level of pride there, but now there's actually a genuine level of skepticism. And I don't blame them, by the way. We have learned just how manipulated a lot of reports and stats can be. And so we're moving into an era, I believe, of where you have to show it up front that you're the real deal and they need to experience it. You can't just tell them to take your word for it. You can't tell them to see your reviews. I don't think that that's going to work very well anymore. Not that those things won't play a part, but I think people are going to be much more likely to convert when they can experience your value in real time, immediately. And they go, whoa, that worked. I'm in. Okay, so this is why I really wanted to do this call with Nick. We've been building up to this for 3 weeks now. We've been building up to this call. This is the end game for those of you with Avengers who would like the Avengers. This is the end game right here, okay? Because this is for all the agents who, one, you want to stand out in a crowded market. It's still crowded. Even with the thinning of the market, it is still crowded, guys. They went from knowing 21 agents to knowing 15. Okay, well, it's still a lot of agents that all of your leads and your current and past clients know. Okay, and also you maybe you're an agent who wants to be able to compete against big teams, solo agents who are bigger than you, more reviews, more money, right? And the best way to beat people like that is with value. It really is. Maybe you want to deliver an experience that actually helps your leads. It impresses them and makes you unforgettable. Right? There's just such a difference, right? I'm going to give you another quick example, okay? This is so silly. We were at the farmer's market yesterday, walking around. All the vendors are there. Nice. All the produce looks great. A lot of them sell the same produce, by the way. They have tomatoes and they have tomatoes, and most of them are roughly around the same price because they don't want to get into a bidding war, right? But none of them greeted me as I was walking around. None of them brought me into experience. And then one person said, here's a flower. And she handed it to my daughter. And then next thing you know, we're standing at the booth experiencing what they're offering. Now we actually care because they used something to bring us in. While everybody else just stood there with a billboard saying, we're the best tomatoes. And I'm like, listen, all the tomatoes look pretty great here. They're all pretty much the same price. By the way, if you guys aren't picking up on this, you're the tomatoes, right? You look pretty great on the surface. Your reviews look good. You seem professional. You seem to know what you're talking about, right? But you're not bringing me in. But the person who offered something, that's when we stopped. That's what brought me in. That's what separated them, even if their tomatoes aren't as good as the person next to them. We're trying to help you to create the ultimate and stay ahead, by the way, shift of what we're seeing in the market, which is they've got to experience your value immediately, right away. They've got to know you're the real deal with their own two hands, with their own two eyes. You follow me on this, guys? And then, of course, one of the best parts about this is isn't just for fun. This isn't just a, you know, passive thing that you're just like, yeah, I guess I'll do this. It converts 2 to 5 times higher because they're experiencing it, which means I want you to reverse engineer what I just said. You need to have 2 to 5 times less leads. You might need 2 to 5 times less conversations so you can get more for the work that you're currently doing. Would you guys all like that? To not have to convert 2 to 5 times as much to get the deal? I don't know about you. I like getting paid quicker and for less, effort if I can, less work, less hours committed. All right, so let's keep going. So 4 commitments for being on the call now. Number 1 is video on, just like you can't have your video off when you're meeting with your clients in person. Don't show up here with your video off, right? That's not what we do here. We're focused. We're a community. Number 2 is distractions off. Be safe, right? And then you are way too smart to show up to a call where we're pouring into you for free just to be distracted and leave with nothing or leave with fragments that you don't even know what to do with. So let's get those videos on, distractions off, and then participate. We're going to be asking questions. We're going to be getting involved. We're going to be giving you things that will change your business, and it's proven to do so. And then make someone's day. Go take something that you learned today and go bless someone with it, just like you're being blessed here. We didn't ask you to pay anything to sign up, right? We are just pouring into you, okay? So one more quick question for you. So what's more memorable to a homeowner? A postcard that says, call me for your free valuation, or an online tool that lets them test what's my home worth after a 20K kitchen remodel? Which one do you think is more valuable? Which one do you think resonates? Right? Teresa was on it. She's like, online for sure. She knows what's up. William, online. That's right. That's right. I'm going to give you the answer, guys. It's online. It's the experience. It's the proof immediately. But here's what most agents are doing. They're doing the you take action to receive benefit from me versus I'm immediately giving you the benefit. That doesn't work well with people. Because when 100 agents are all saying, yeah, I'll do a home valuation for you. Well, why do they need to decide then? What's the pressure? What's the thing leading them to make a decision and choose you when 100 agents offer the same exact thing? Call me for evaluation. Hey, Zillow sucks, right? I know a lot of you have fallen victim to this. Zillow is terrible. The estimates are terrible. Well, what's your solution? That they have to go and do work with you? They don't even know you. You haven't even proven to them. Zillow feels much more reliable because Zillow gives them numbers they want. Not saying they're right. Okay. All right. So we're going to skip the scenario. We're going to get right into some of the facts I want to share with you because I want to have Nick, make sure Nick has enough time. Okay. So some of the things, 91% of consumers say they're more likely to choose a brand that offers personalized, relevant value. 91%. That's a huge number. But duh, we're all like this. We all want to feel personalized. We choose products, we choose doctors, we choose caretakers and providers based off of how personal and relevant they feel to us. It's very simple. It's very emotional, and it's just the truth. Number 2, people who engage with interactive tools. Some good example, right? A mortgage calculator is actually an interactive tool. So that's one that you've seen before and realized, maybe even utilized. Renovations, cost to sell tools, a bunch of other things. Interactive tools, they're 2.4 times more likely to book an appointment than just reading a post. Just telling you the truth. And then every tool you publish can be used again and again. Plus, you can track the data to know what works best, where to post it, and who it resonates with the most. So I'm going to do a quick crash course because Nick will actually give you a demonstration. So I'm going to do this the quickest crash course that I can. If you've been attending for the last 3 weeks, some of this is going to feel very familiar because the beginning stages is you need to know who your audience is. So this is a big one. We're not going to get into too many details here. So I'm just going to, again, crash course because we want to have time because what you're going to see today will blow your mind. And the fact that it's accessible to you for most of you, just you're going to be left pretty speechless. So again, you need to start with one group you want to attract. It could be sellers in a specific zip code. It could be first-time home buyers and investors. You can go really generic, but the more specific you are, the more that the value you can build on it. Okay. You want to identify the exact result or answer they want, what they're looking for, how much your home could gain with 3 upgrades, right? Because at the end of the day, when someone's asking for help, they actually are looking for a very specific question. Someone saying, "What's my home value?" actually has a much more specific question that they're asking. You just have to find out what it is. All right, so keep it specific and keep it simple. And again, I know we're breezing through this, but I really want you to see the demonstration. It's amazing. So keep it specific and keep it simple. One audience, one outcome, one promise. You can always build other avenues for answering more questions and solving other problems, but you just want to make sure you do a good job of at least solving this one, whatever you pick. Okay. Step 2 is you're going to choose your tool type. Um, and so this is where we can get into it. So like Nick will have his exact tool type that he's going to do, but some examples is it could be a quiz, it could be a calculator, it could be an analyzer, it could be a recommendation tool. There are so many different types of tools that you can build. And again, Nick will explain the tool type that he chose today to show you and demonstrate, right? And think in terms of questions your clients already ask you. Hey, which upgrades will raise my home's value? Bing, 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 tool, right? That's a tool right there. Those questions are tools that you build. And we're going to show you exactly what that means. Which neighborhood best fits my lifestyle? Big deal right there. Big deal. I love it. Nick has a great tool for that too. So just you wait, man. Keep it focused. Remember, one clear tool is more powerful than trying to cover everything. It just doesn't work well that way. Never does. Okay. All right. And then we will come back to step 3. I think maybe after the AI demonstration that you do, Nick. I think we'll come back to step 3. Or no, I guess we can just cover this and then come back and answer questions. Um, so you're gonna follow what Nick is gonna show you today. Again, he's gonna do a live demonstration. We did this before; it was awesome, and you guys who attended were like, "What the heck?" It's part of why we did this series because people were like, "This is amazing," right? So you're gonna use your we personally recommend GPT or Claude because we know these best, their coding side best, so we can kind of verify that these results can be driven. Um, you're going to follow the prompt and process that Nick will give you and share with you. The AI is actually going to help you build the tool. And again, we're going to show you exactly what that means. So don't worry if you're like, what is he talking about? Build what tool? And what? Don't worry. We're going to show you exactly what that means. We're going to do exactly what we're telling you to do, which is prove, experience, right? You're going to put it into what's called a no-code web template. And we'll show you about those platforms. Don't worry. That's part of the demonstration to where you can actually use your tool real and live and send it to people. And then you're going to test it yourself before you ever send it to anybody else. You should be always doing this, proofreading, proof testing. And then you're going to share it directly. You're going to share it on social media if you want to. The important part is that you just get it out there and start getting people to use it and just see the results. Okay, so I know that was really quick, but again, I will be able to circle back on anything. I just want to leave adequate time so you can see what Nick is about to share with you. And Nick, I'm going to let you take it over. Guys, drop questions along the way if you have them. Okay, but we're going to let Nick just kind of flow through this. So Nick, do your thing, man.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks, Robert. Let me share my screen here and we'll get going. So I think let me start here. I just want to show you all a couple examples. I think that yeah, this is an advanced concept in some ways, in a lot of ways, I think this is going to be a very common thing you're going to see a lot of real estate agents and businesses in general doing in the next couple years. But as of now, it's new, right? So anytime something's new, we kind of have to wrap our head around it. It can be a little bit confusing. So let me show you 2 examples first. And I'll be honest, like I can make a new one of these and I can show you the demo based on ideas that I already have. Or we can brainstorm something new, and I always think that's a lot more fun. So I'd rather have a recommendation from all of you that I can kind of work with. But if not, I'll come up with something and we'll go from there. So let's start here. This is one example, right? So the idea behind this particular tool, this is a neighborhood matchmaker. So I'm just going to kind of fill it in and show you what it does. So let's say we're look. So basically, you're moving to the DFW area, right? This one's specific to the Dallas Fort Worth area. A lot of folks, obviously, in that part of the country. And so they're going to come in. Somebody's like, all right, I need to move. I'm moving to the DFW. Okay, where should I look? What are the neighborhoods I should look at? The cities, the towns, etc. And they just fill this in, right? So I'm looking for, close access to public transportation, and I like to golf, and we'll just leave it at that. Then they can select, how like a specific part of the region, or hey, I don't know where I'm going, so show it all to me. Then the last thing they can select is how far they're willing to be from those amenities, right? So that kind of tells the tool, like, do I need to be in like an urban area where I can walk to a lot of stuff or take a bus or, can I drive a little bit, right? Now, one other thing they can do in this particular tool is they can fill in anything they want. It will not accept things that violate the fair housing laws, right? So if there's something they put in that's discriminatory, it will ignore it or it'll just reject it altogether. But they can say other things. They can say, hey, I want an area with, lots of trees, or, I really like lakes. I want to make sure I'm not too far from a lake, or, I have 3 dogs and I want to be in an area that's really dog friendly. You know what I mean? It's obviously going to be able to interpret that as best as possible. And there you go, right? So it's going to give them then over here these customized recommendations. So look at this neighborhood, look at that neighborhood. Obviously, we kept it very broad, and so these might be areas that are kind of spread out, and then approximate price ranges they should expect. And then one of my favorite parts is they can download this report. So there you go. Now they have a little PDF download copy of the report they can take with them. And obviously the point here, as Robert was already explaining, is this just gives them something completely customized, right? So now we're talking about, okay, I'm not just going to give somebody a list of neighborhoods they could go look at. I'm going to tell them, hey, these are the ones I really think that you should consider, right? So that's one version. Let me go over another one real quick here. And like I said, what I want you to be doing right now is thinking about your own clients. Even if we don't use your idea, it's going to be helpful to kind of have done some of this brainstorming already. And if you have an idea, if you're like, oh man, I'd love to have one that does this for my perfect client, go ahead and start putting them in the chat. All right, so that's my warning. You got about 2 more minutes as I show you this second tool, and then I'm gonna make one, and it only takes about 10 minutes. That's the crazy thing, right? Like these are literally completely new AI tools. Something like this has never really existed before in the world, and we are going to create one in under 10 minutes. So that's what I mean by the fact that this is accessible. This is something you're going to see a lot more of in the coming months. This one's called a home value maximizer. This is for your sellers, right? So this one isn't specific to a particular city, but you could make one for your specific area. And what they do, and this is also pretty cool, is they're just going to upload some pictures of their home. So I've got some in here somewhere. Let me find them, and I'll just do a quick demo for you. Here it is. All right. So what we do is we grab some pictures of our house. We put them into the tool. This tool is going to be able to analyze those images. And then we can say, how long until we're going to move. We can add additional details. We can say what the budget is for fixing the house up. Do we want to do most of it ourselves or most of it done professionally? And then we generate a report, right? So same kind of process. We're filling in a form and then we're getting a report as a result. Now you can build these tools a lot of different ways. These could be a chat bot, right? Like, I mean, that's where it started 2 years ago when I first started learning how to do this and kind of figured it out on my own. I took some code for a basic chat bot and I kind of converted it into something more like this. But I'll tell you right now, I find that people really prefer when it's a form versus a chatbot because a chatbot's very open-ended. It can be a little confusing, like what I should be saying, and it's a lot of back and forth. Versus this is very clear. We're used to filling out forms on the internet. We've been doing that for a long time. And then they click a button and they get their final result, right? And so here's the output report, gives them ideas on which different things to work on fixing, things to clean up, deep cleaning, approximately how much it's going to cost, approximately how long it's going to take. And yet again, they can come down and download their PDF report version, right? So there you go. All right, so that I always think is helpful just to kind of see a couple examples to get an idea of what we're working with. So now I'm going to check the chat. I'm going to give you a couple more seconds here. So if you have an idea, if you're like, man, it'd be cool if I had, an activity planner, like that's one of my favorites too, is like, hey, I like to work with families with young children, and if I can help them keep their kids occupied for a weekend, they're going to really appreciate that, and then they're going to be more excited to work with me, right? So like that's one I've built. So you don't have to think necessarily just about the real estate transaction. Obviously, these two tools are kind of geared towards that. But if you know something about your ideal customer, maybe you like to work with couples who are recently married or who are planning to get married, right? In their case, maybe you make a date night planner, right? Put in, some of your interests and some of your favorite dates you've ever been on, and I'm going to do a bunch of calculations and tell you what you should go do this weekend, right? That's the kind of stuff that, again, is not real estate specific, but it's going to attract the kind of people that you want to work with, right? And if you sort of sync it up and maybe even name it, like newlywed date night planner, you're going to get the right kind of people, and then some of them will need your service, right? And maybe not right away, but within the next few months, next few years. I'll tell you right now, there are agents that are starting to just build big lists of those people. You can get these leads very affordably because it's not something that they're committing to sitting down for a sales conversation to get. And then you've got a big list, hundreds, maybe thousands of people in your area that are your perfect client, and you just talk to that list, right? It makes your business a lot easier to run. So, all right, I'm just kind of filling some time to give you a second or two more to propose
Let me
ideas.
jump in, Nick, real quick because
Yeah,
I
go
want to
for it.
say, like, guys, if you're struggling with the brainstorming, seriously, just think about this. Like, if your clients are asking you questions about an area or about certain things, maybe it's a best school, right? Maybe it's I put two ideas in there. One of them I said is a tool that finds open job postings around a certain home, address, or neighborhood. I don't know how possible AI is pretty amazing, but what I'm thinking about is what is something that's recurred with my clients? What's a problem they've had, whether it's real estate or not? What's a problem they've come to me about? Right. And guess what? Jobs has always been one that's always come up. So my brain is telling me, man, if I have tools around helping people with jobs, right? Then I'm a huge resource. And if I'm helping them make money or get income, hello, I need that. I need them to have an income, a stable income to buy houses, to sell houses, to do the things I want them to do. So I'm solving my own problems at the same time. I saw another one, Barbara. I think you said people are a short sale candidate underwater since market is shifting. Was that something that you'd love to create a tool around? I like it. I like it. So, guys, think of that way, right? Is problems that you see your clients having or questions that keep coming up where they're coming to you for help. And right, the old way of doing it, Nick, right, was just you had to memorize everything yourself and be ready to handle any objection, or you had to hand them off to someone else and hope they had a good experience. You had to hope that something that they would carry on the value. And remember, every time you hand them off, if that person delivers poor value, it is going to slightly tarnish the way they view you, right? I might like Nick and he might be the best guy ever, but if he keeps sending me to people that suck, there's going to be this impression of, I like you, Nick, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm questioning your judgment because you're sending me bad people, right? This is saying, listen, stay with me. Instead of going out there, stay with me a little bit longer. Ask me some more questions, get some more value, trust me a bit more. All right, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, no problem. So, all right, I'm looking through the ideas. I like the job one, so I think we might run with the job one. Yeah, let's give it a try. I don't know for sure if it's going to be able to work out, but I'm always surprised by this stuff. So, if we have other ideas, we can try them as well. Let's see, short homes within a short commute, Nashville that are not in Nashville. Okay, so that could be an interesting one. So,
Like a
but let's
commute
start with the job
calculator
one.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah, let's start with the job one, and then we'll see if we have time for some others. So, how do I do this? All right, now I'm gonna run through this quickly. This is not a step-by-step training. All right, I will provide you, if you want it, I'll provide you with the prompt that I use for this. Right, so this is a tool, an AI tool called Claude. It's a competitor for ChatGPT. It's good and bad in some cases, so I don't use it for everything. Like ChatGPT is better at certain things, but when it comes to writing code, Claude is still kind of the champion in that area. So Claude is I personally think is the best tool for writing code. You're going to get other opinions from other people probably. So what I have here is I have what's called a project in Claude, and it has these instructions. All right. So this is what we'll put in the newsletter and I'll send to you. It's a big long prompt. You don't need to worry about what's in it, but it is already in here. Okay, so I'm going to give it to you. You can copy it. You can put it into ChatGPT if you want to try to work with it, or there's a free version of Claude. You can do that too. And once that's in there, I just have to describe the new tool that I want. That's it, right? So I'm literally just going to copy and paste what Robert said, and I'm going to put it into my chat here that I've kind of set up. Now, I'll tell you right now, this prompt that I created took me 2 years to create. So like in terms of value and getting something that's valuable for free, like this is maybe the most valuable thing you're going to get for free ever because it's going to basically turn your AI into a Python coder that makes these kinds of tools and avoids a bunch of the mistakes that I have encountered over the past 2 years and learned how to better prompt the tool to get me what I want, right? Now, first thing I want you to look at as we do this is just look at the right side of the screen. That is completely new AI code, or sorry, Python code, written by AI, being written faster than a human could ever type, right? So like this is where we're at with the technology. So just so you know on the back end of things, this
Yeah.
is how easy it is to build your own app now. Like that just built a new app. It's done already. Like what was that, 30 seconds, right? So I'm going to show you what to do with that and see if it works. It doesn't always work on the
It
first
doesn't.
try,
It doesn't
just
always
fair
work.
warning. But that's how quick this ultimately is, okay? So here's what we do. We already wrote our code. There's two other things that we need to get the tool working and get to a point where you'll be able to put it on your website if you want, but you won't have to. You'll have another place you can share it with people. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come back to the tool I showed you earlier. This is the DFW Neighborhood Matchmaker. I'm on a website called huggingface.co. We'll make sure to provide links to all of these websites. I am on a free profile, and this tool is being hosted on here for free. A little bit crazy, right? Like, I mean, there's some stuff going on in AI that may not be the case in a few years, right? Like some of these companies are giving stuff away that's sort of bonkers, right? Like, so they will
Take it while
host
you
your
can get
tools
it.
on here for free. All right. Now there are higher tiers and you can pay for more service and stuff. But I've hosted almost all my tools here. I'm in the process now of building a platform where I can host them myself just for, a little bit more control. But you can use this. This is fair game, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to take an existing tool that I've already built and I'm just going to copy it and replace the code. All right. So those next couple steps, that's all I'm doing. I'm taking a tool I already have and you can go to this same URL and you can copy this tool and do the exact same thing I'm about to do. Just to be clear. All right. So what I do is I click up here and again, I'm going to move kind of quickly. Like this is being recorded. If you want to go back and try to watch it, you can. If you want to, I have courses on this, obviously. So if you want to say take one of those, we obviously
The
move a lot
courses are worth
slower.
it, by the way. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And so, so just again, one final warning. I'm just gonna, you may miss a couple clicks here, but I'm going to click on duplicate this space. I'm going to give it a name. So like, let's just call it for just simplicity right now. I'm just going to call it Job Finder, and I have to put a dash in there because it doesn't want me to use spaces in the name, or yeah, spaces in the space name, ironically. Over here, we're going to switch the visibility to public so that other people can see the tool. And then the last thing we need to create this copy is what's called an API key. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab one real quick. And again, I'm just going to move fast right now. But what this is, just so you kind of understand on the back end what I'm doing, this is allowing me to use the technology that powers ChatGPT. And actually, give me a second to get logged in here because I always log into the wrong account and then I have to log into a different one. But let me see if this will
I
work.
do the same. I do the
Yeah,
same.
so
By the
this
way,
let
I'm
me.
seeing great ideas in the chat while you're doing that.
Oh,
Great
good. So
ideas in the
maybe we'll
chat,
come back
guys.
and try one more before we wrap up here. So let me just get logged in. Sorry, I got a lot of accounts. I have too many businesses and different emails and stuff. And now I'm on the neighborhood board and I've got that email in there too and all kinds of goofy stuff. All right, so here's what we're doing. This is going to give me basically access to all the technology behind ChatGPT, right? And I'm just going to call this Job Finder Demo. And fair warning, I am going to delete this key later because, and this is something to remember, this is a key. It's literally a key that will allow someone, anybody, to access your API account and use the account that you put your credit card into, right? So you don't want people to see this. So anytime I do a demo like this, I always go back a few minutes later and delete that key just so that it can't be, stolen by anybody random if this video ever gets out in the public or whatever, right? But you don't have to worry too much about that as long as you only ever put that key in that box I just showed you. It'll be secure. Okay, it's called a secret, so they can't. It's encrypted. People can't see it. You're good to go. All right. Okay, so we're almost done. That's the crazy part, right? Like I've done pretty much all the work I need to do. The last thing I need to do is just copy the new code over, right? So I come back over here to the job finder. Now, again, I haven't tested this yet, so there is always a chance I'm going to put it in here and it won't work. But what I'm
Good
going to do
chance
is I'm just going to,
sometimes too.
yeah, and sometimes it's good to see that because you can see how to fix it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the existing code, look at all this code. There's like 1,000+ lines of code in this existing tool, and I'm just going to paste the new one in. And the new one's a lot smaller. Okay, it's a simpler tool that we're creating right now, and we'll probably make changes to it, right? Commit changes to main, which just means save. And let's see what happens, right? So what you'll see up here is it says building. That means that your app is being set up. Okay, so this is new code, never existed before. It's being written, and so now it's taking it and it's processing it and it's getting it ready to post. And then now it says running, right? So again, usually only takes about 30 seconds. And so let's see what we got. We're gonna switch over to the app tab,
Come on,
and
baby. Work for
here we
me.
go, right? So it doesn't work yet. I mean, it may or may not work, but at least it's showing up, right? So let's just pause here for a second, right? Think about what this means. This means that and I'm doing a demo, so there's, it's kind of hard to move as fast as you can while you're showing something. I probably could have done this in a couple minutes less. 10 minutes or less. You can go and create something that was just in your brain 10 minutes ago, all right? And so this is why I'm like, look, there's some urgency here because this might look scary today, and there are some steps here that take some getting used to, but it's not hard, right? It might be new, it might be intimidating. That's always okay. But I will tell you, I've taught people, even into their 70s how to do this, and they're making these tools now. I mean, so there's no excuse, right? I mean, if you see this and you go, man, this would be cool to have in my business, just remember, like, there are a lot of people that will be doing this, and it's not hard. So when something is not hard to do, it tends to catch on. All right, so let's fill it in. All right, so I'm just going to use my area. So I'm in St. Louis, and I'm actually, let me say St. Louis, and I'm going to put in my actual neighborhood. Let's just see if it can find that or not. That's going to be a long shot, I think, but we'll see, right? Let's see. I'm gonna leave the job type open just to give it, I'll say any experience level. By the way, I didn't tell it to put these boxes in here, right? Like the AI made all these decisions. If you don't like some of these decisions, right? If you're like, okay, that for example, if you want higher salary ranges or you don't want the salary ranges or any of that, you can change anything you see. And the way you change it is you literally just talk to the AI. All right. Now let's see. I mean, it may or may not work. We're gonna see here, but so far so good, right? I click the button. I've got my little icon down here spinning and all this kind of stuff, and all the stuff you see here, the setup, the icons with the spinning, like this is all because of that prompt I created, right? Like if I just ask AI to make a tool, it will. It probably won't look like this, and it probably won't work like this, right? Because there are certain things that are part of that prompt that better instruct the AI on what I want
Yeah,
it to
because
do,
AI
right?
builds it for themselves, essentially, when you say build a tool. And so AI essentially assumes that we know what it's doing. While what he did created here is he said basically make it presentable so a human can understand what's happening.
Right. All right. And so here we go. So let's see. It came up with we got a job at Progressive, it looks like, and a link to their careers page, which is this is crazy. And again, like I didn't tell it to do any of this, right? Like this always is just it's getting better and better, and that's what's really wild, right? So I got 5 different jobs. I've got links theoretically to where you can find more information. It doesn't look like it's creating links directly to the job. But it is creating a link to the website where I can find it, right? And that's
Yeah,
pretty
and
good
making
already.
you
Now we can go
aware,
in.
aware of the job and
Right, right.
where it exists. It's not hard to go and hit view job opportunities because you know exactly what you're
Exactly.
looking for now.
Yep. So it'll take you right over to the careers page on those websites, right? So here's one for Slack. And this is again because we said remote jobs, right? So we could take that out and do the search again. Now, I mean, there you go, right? I mean, so there's a couple things here that I would change. First of all, that put this box in here down here, right? Problem is this probably doesn't do anything. Like if I fill this in and click it, where does it go, right? It didn't ask me for that. So I
Yeah.
would probably remove that. Like I actually try not to have inputs inside of the tool. And then I use separate ones, right? So for example, what I would do with this tool now and I would refine it, right? I'm gonna go back, talk to Claude, make some changes potentially. Like one thing I would do is remove the form, and then I would add a feature where they could download a PDF, right? Because I just think that's handy, gives them something they can take away with them. They can reference that without having to come back and use my tool again later, which is good for a bunch of reasons. Number one, it won't cost you. It costs you a little bit of money, like a penny or two every time somebody uses your tool, which is incredibly affordable, right? It's very, very affordable. But you want to minimize that. Also, it uses energy. There's an environmental impact, right? So if I give them a copy of something they can download, that's just going to prevent them from having to come back and reuse the tool a bunch to get the same information later. But it's also just convenient for them, right? Now they got something they can take. You can brand it. It's got your contact information in it, right? Something they might share with a friend. They might share the tool itself. So those are a couple things I would change. Now, what do I do with it then? Well, what I would do is, and this is another cool thing about Hugging Face, is once you have your tool on Hugging Face, you click up here again, and you click embed this space, and here you go. You can take this embed frame, this iframe, and put it on your website. Now you don't have to. It's already here, right? So you can just give people a link to it on Hugging Face. But if you want to put it on your website, you can, which is really nice, right? Because now you're getting traffic to your website. Now you're getting people coming in and visiting, your URL. If that doesn't mean anything to you, or if you don't have a website, don't worry about it. All right, you don't have to do that step because as long as you're giving them the tool, that's all anybody's going to care about. But it's definitely going to give you extra value if it's on your website, right? So you can do that and then you do whatever you want with it, right? I mean, what I would personally recommend is offer it publicly, post on social media, make little videos about it, talk about it whenever you can. It gives you a new thing to make a lot of content around. You can demo how to
Absolutely.
use it. You can take screenshots of it. You can, generate some. You can just come in here and generate reports of jobs based on a bunch of zip codes in your area and post each one of them on social media. I mean, talk about content gold mine, right? So that's one thing, but what I would really always recommend is just ask people to give you their contact information in one form or another in order to access the tool, right? So if you want to have like a form on your website that they fill out and then they get access to it, that's one way to do it. If you want to post on social and say, hey, look, send me a message. Like what I do is I post something, I say, hey, anybody want to try this new tool I made? And I get a bunch of comments. And
Yep.
then I respond to the comments because comments always make your post be seen by more people. So any comment, even if you're responding, is usually a good thing. And I say, look, I'm going to send you a message with the tool. Let me know when you get it. Now, I could send the message and say, hey, give me your email address and then I'll send you the tool. Or I can just send them a message and give them the tool because now I'm having a Facebook Messenger conversation with them, which is basically like text messaging, right? So it's essentially the same thing. If they're getting my Facebook messages and they're having a conversation, they're going to get that notification. They're going to see my follow-ups. I can ask them the next day, hey, did you find any jobs you like? Which neighborhoods are you most interested in? Would you like to see any houses for sale in the area, right? And I can kind of continue that conversation. So that to me is the way to use these is just to offer them, but just make sure that it's leading to a conversation. Whether or not that means you get their email, their phone number, or you just start a conversation on Facebook. That's a personal preference. That's up to you. But as long as you do that, now you're turning this into an actual lead magnet, right? It's not just a cool tool on your website. It's something that you're getting people's contact information in exchange for, and that's what makes it a lead magnet, all right? So I want to make sure we have time to answer some questions. We can try to make another. So I don't know, Robert, if any of the I haven't had a
Let me
chance to look at
pause
the
real
chat.
quick. Where you
Yeah.
can go check the chat and see if you think there's one we could do really quickly. But while you do that, I see some eyes glazed over, and that's okay. By the way, it's okay. Don't worry. Listen, my eyes glaze over all the time when I'm learning something new too. The important part that you need to take away from today is one, this is accessible to all of you. It's cost effective. This is not something locked behind, a $5,000 monthly subscription and right. This is accessible to you. It's affordable and it solves real problems that your clients are having and in turn solves one of your problems, which is daily relevant lead gen. Okay? You can do this. The point isn't to convince you to go make an app. The point is to convince you to go find a way to provide value. And here's a way to learn more about one of the ways we think is very efficient and very effective in providing value. This job finder thing, which, like you said, it did it so quick. And arguably, this is good enough. You could get away with it. Now, you shouldn't. You should do a little more tweaking. You should make it a little bit nicer. But what I'm saying is, I could actually still go use this right away if I wanted to. Do you know how many times I have people that are just always asking about jobs? It's always a thing that comes up. And if you guys are doing your job, your clients should be asking you about jobs too. Your leads should be talking to you about their jobs, right? This should be something that you're cognitively aware of. You should be involved in those conversations to some degree. Now, before, when I would try to help people with jobs, here's what I would have to do: all the work. I'd have to go look. I'd have to go call people. I'd have to go check Indeed and Monster and ZipRecruiter and all of these other things. And now I can just say, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. I've got something for you. Here you go. I'm solving a real problem for them. And if I can get my clients in a good job, guess what? They're going to be far more likely to buy something, right? You listening to me right now? I can't stress this enough. You got to go and solve their problems. Because I tell you what, if Nick and I are in the same market and he chooses to help them find a job and I don't, Nick is so far more likely to be the agent they choose because he actually helped them. He didn't just say, well, come back to me later when you've done all the work and I've done nothing to help you. I just want to get paid whenever, you figure it out. I'm not saying that's wrong, by the way. It's not your job to find people jobs, but it is your job to stay competitive. And so if your competitors, a lot of agents aren't aware of this right now. So Nick is doing something to keep you ahead of the game. I'm trying to get you ahead of this. Okay? Because let me tell you, if you were the first person to adopt the internet, right? To adopt a new platform, you grow faster, you learn more, and you become an expert, even if you're not the best. Even if you're not the best. So go solve people's problems. Like the job thing is amazing. That's so exciting. It makes me able to serve more people with less work, with actual less work. Bonnie, local events finder, lead magnet tools, amazing. Yep. I talked about that one. Alec also talked about that, how he built a newsletter, a magazine called Town Talk. Now he's going to have this ability to create these tools that will do specific things. There's other great ideas. Teresa, ideal investment finder. What's my ideal investment in real estate? Oh, brilliant. Do you know how many people have never even considered it? And then it's long conversations and it's the same ones over and over again. But if they start using this little calculator, this little finder, those conversations are going to come naturally. You can even just go and be like, hey, Nick, I saw that you were looking at the investments and finding your ideal one. How did the results turn out for you? How did it go? Nick's going to tell me. He's going to be like, yeah, actually, the tool is pretty cool. Or maybe he says it's terrible. Great. Either way, it's a conversation. Right? I just hope you guys are resonating with this because this really is, it's allowing you to do so much more for less, to provide so much more value than you ever could do. And it takes you less time long term, significantly less time, not just a little bit. You just need to get this tweaked, update it a little bit, make sure it works, update it a little bit again when you get some feedback, and then just use it and use it again and use it again and use it again. All right, what'd you do?
Well, so I went ahead and saw. I'm just seeing if it'll make the events finder. So here we go. This is the new tool. So let's see. So let's go for networking. So that's always a good one. We'll do business. Let's do outdoor activities. We'll see what it comes up with.
Let's go.
All right, this weekend, any budget, any size. All right, cool. And just so you guys know, I mean, one of the things this tool I think is doing, right? I mean, we just created it. I could obviously go in and analyze it more. But it's searching the internet, right? So a lot of what you see with AI is like it'll make things up, right? You can make a tool that will just make up events and just kind of come up with the most convincing thing. But that's what, really we want something that's accurate, right? So we saw that with the job finder. It was actually finding the URLs, linking to them, taking that next step. So what I've found is that, if you use, again, the prompt I provided and all that kind of stuff, obviously with a lot of refinement here, these tools will search and will provide completely updated information from the local area, right? So that's pretty helpful. So this one's taking a second, but there we go. And let's see what it came up with. All right, so we've got there's a swap meet coming up. All right, cool. I used to do the swap meet
Me too.
myself back in the day. I had a booth there. You got yoga in the park. You got Cardinals tickets. Those are probably pretty cheap right now. People aren't going to Cardinals games this year. Let's see what else we got. All right, T-Rex. What is this? Tech meetup. Okay, cool. I used to work at T-Rex. I'm familiar with that. Creative writing workshop. That sounds fun. Cool. So one of the things I want to point out about this tool is there are some things I would change right away. This to me is hard to read, right? So like nothing is really bolded. It's all the same font size. You can get through it, right? But it doesn't come across as like, where's my eye supposed to be drawn to? And so that's the kind of stuff you provide feedback on, right? So you say, okay, look, this is great, but can you make each event, its own little block, or can you make the name of the event bigger text, or make it bold? And it'll go through and it'll make those changes for you, right? But there you go. I mean, that's pretty good for the first draft. And obviously, we could go back and we could do that. We're almost out of time here, and I want to make sure we have a chance to answer any questions you might have. But I mean, this is, to me, it's like obviously this is just a quick demo. So, obviously, reach out if you want information about some of the classes and courses that I teach more in depth on this. But don't sit on it, right? I mean, like that's the kind of thing, like I don't want you to get distracted. I don't want this, if this is a shiny object and you need to be making phone calls, like go make your phone calls, obviously. But if you do have some time, I think that, I mean, here's the thing, once you know how to do this, what you can do with this skill is pretty incredible, right? I mean, this is just one thing, right? You can build almost any tool you can imagine. You'll understand how to use AI at a much higher level because you'll be just better at communicating with it. And I think the sooner that you can try this kind of stuff, maybe it's in partnership with somebody. Maybe you work with somebody else and they do the build out for you. And then you just take the tool and market it. I mean, I do have some tools I've already built and you can just basically license them from me. So there are different ways to go about it. But the sooner the better, right? I think this is definitely going to be something that and I've already seen it start to catch on. I mean, I was probably one of the first people in the world, honestly, to talk about this idea. But a lot of people are now, right? A lot of people are building their own apps. They're doing these things. It's only going to accelerate, right? So this is a good opportunity. I'll tell you right now, if you're an individual agent, you're a smaller team, talk about an opportunity to compete with the bigger players, right? So this is a way to double, triple your impact, provide a lot more value than the bigger teams can, because they're not doing it yet, but they will eventually, right?
Even
So
breaking into markets, right? So this is
yeah.
one thing I've always heard is, well, I want to break into luxury. I want to break into investments. And there's all these other people who have established businesses. But imagine you created a tool, right? That the calculator we talked about earlier, the ideal investment type based off of you, who you are. They're not asking your credentials. That's the thing. People will go and use these tools and they won't ask a single thing about how qualified you are to give them this advice. They're just going to go use the tool because it's direct, it's simple, it feels transparent, and it delivers results. And so now you just broke into the investment market and you didn't have to spend billboards. You didn't have to, not that you can't make thousands of cold calls, you can, but you didn't have to. And nobody's asking you why, if you're the top person or whatever. You're just breaking in. You're just getting into it. Right, Barbara, I know you just started getting more into agent recruiting, right? That's a big thing that you're trying to investigate, right? What are the problems that agents are having? What are the questions that are coming up? Build some simple tools that allow them to start finding the solutions through the services you provide, right? Which is these tools. And next thing you know, you're learning about your target audience. You're opening up conversations that normally you wouldn't get because they wouldn't even be talking to you because everybody's really reserved. Everybody's closed off, right? So all of you should be thinking about these things because this really is, not to say the words lightly because they're so cliche now, but this is a game changer. This really is. This just gives you an opportunity to be so much more than you are right now, right? And again, I would strongly suggest that you don't make 100 tools that are sporadic. What I would personally suggest you do is focus on a target audience you want to serve really well. Maybe it's moms, right? Moms, you identify with them, you work with them, right? So they have kids. So I'm going to build tools around helping them find free events for their kids, right? And other activities. Okay. Then maybe you'll find a home calculator would go well, right? A home finder, ideal home finder would go well for them too. You're going to have overlap, right? And so I would focus on building tools around a very specific demographic first, because all the tools will then compound. What you learn about one will help you with the information you pour into the next one. That way, you're not like, oh, I'm doing an event finder here and a job here and this here, and you're not going deep on anything. So the quality of the tool is diminished because you're just jumping all over the place. This is my opinion. Nick, I don't know where you stand on that, but that's my opinion is, pick your target audience and then really focus on building tools that serve them. And I think you'll get a much deeper experience.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. I think that's I'll be honest, like I think the future of marketing is almost completely detached from what your business even does. I think the future of marketing is really understanding who it is you're trying to attract, right? What are the characteristics about that person? And then providing as much value that has nothing to do with what you offer as you can so that they're engaging with you as early in the process as possible. I mean, that'll open doors to partnerships with other businesses. There's all kinds of things you can get from that. But yes, if I like your example with the job, it's like if I'm looking for a new job, but I am not moving yet, I don't know that I need to buy or sell a house quite yet. If a specific agent helps me find a job, I'm obviously going to use that agent, right? Like as long as they made it clear that they're an agent. Doesn't mean you don't still mention what you do for a living and brand yourself, but I mean that it's just very obvious, right? It's like if somebody who does a certain thing, if a local mechanic helped you with something else, helped you, find a, fun date night to go on or something, they're just that much more likely to pop into your head when you do need their product or
Mm-hmm.
service, right? So yeah, I agree.
100%.
I think that's the future of marketing. I think it just should already be what we're doing in our marketing, but I think especially in the future, it's going to be a lot about, how well do you understand that person? How much do you know what they're interested in, what their pain points are, what their frustrations are, and can you help them with those things? And the answer to that was probably not really, a few years ago, or it was going to take a lot of work. Now the answer is yes, you can, right? And somebody will. So it's either you or, and maybe it's the local hairdresser or something, right? I mean, somebody else might get their attention, but I think it's all about getting them on your email list, getting them into your text message list. That's gonna kind of continue to be a big deal in the future. So I made some changes, right? So I think we had a question in there about,
Mm.
going back to Claude. So I'm back to Claude, and I said, hey, remove the form at the bottom. So look, it's gone, right? And then make it easier to see what each of the events is. And obviously it did that, right? So we've got this actually this looks fun. Haunted Ghost Tour. There you go. That's a good one. That's let's see, where is that? Lafayette Park. Interesting. We have to check that out. Art on the Square, Biz Networking Luncheon, right? So that's a good option. Creating writing works, so there you go, right?
Much
And again,
better.
all the links are in here too, which is again, I will have to go through and test and make sure the links actually go to the right places and all that kind of stuff. But it's a good start. So cool. All right. Any questions we can answer before I know we're almost out of time here, but anything else we can offer to answer for you, let me know.
Can they add graphics?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, of course, you can do anything you want, right? So yes, I haven't done that much. I mostly just designed the form and the colors and the layout on all that. But yeah, I mean, if you want to add a logo, you want to add some pictures, images, things like that, you absolutely can. You can also just describe stuff you want. So if you say like, oh, I want there to be a banner across the top that says XYZ, like it will typically do that stuff. I will say the more you try to match a very specific vision for what the tool looks like, the more work it's going to be, right? Because you're going to have a lot more back and forth. But it is all possible, right? I mean, that's kind of the challenge here is this is true of AI in general, is like almost anything you can imagine is possible. It's just about getting to the result you want, right? So that's why, like I said, having that prompt is very helpful because then you have the thing to kind of put in and get it started, and it knows a bunch of stuff it wouldn't otherwise. But just don't be afraid to do a lot of back and forth, and don't be afraid to decide that something's not worth the effort, right? So if you're really trying to get, a certain look to it and it just can't get you there and going back and forth 10 times, the cool thing about this is like we are at a point where the expectations people have is almost zero, right? Because like hey, you want a form that's going to help you find your perfect job? Like, oh my God, that's really cool. If it helps them a little bit, they're going to be really thankful for that. Now, as these get better and more popular, like that will become an area of competition, is whose tool is easiest to use and whose looks the best and all that. But for now, just get them made and onto your website and start talking about them, right? Because you're not going to have very high expectations. All right, so just to answer a few more of these. Put the links in groups geared towards what the market is about, capture info. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, right? And you can absolutely post these in groups. Just be careful that you're not violating the rules of the group for self-promotion and things like that. But yeah, absolutely. I'll be honest, I've gotten more leads from comments on other people's posts than almost anything
Yes.
else.
Same here.
So,
Same here.
right, you find somebody who's like, "Hey, I'm looking for XYZ. I'm looking to move to this area. I'm looking for a job, Hey, I've got a tool that I made that will help with that. Here's what it does. Would you like it?" What happens is not just that person typically says yes, because they're getting a bunch of other people in the comments, go to Indeed.com, right? Okay, fine. But you say, "Hey, I made a tool that will find jobs for you." Oh, yeah, I want that, right? So they say yes. And then a bunch of other people who are reading those posts in the comments, they come along and they say yes too, right? So I've had some of these where like the first person says yes, and then 40 more people have commented on my comment, not my post, but my comment on someone else's post, and I've gotten 40 additional leads from a
Hmm.
comment, right? So just incredible. Let's see. After you do everything included, where do we go next on spaces? Well, I can't go too much back over the process, but again, you're just going to go to an existing space. The easiest way to do it is go to an existing space. You can go to mine, so you can literally come to my profile here if you want to search for me, and you just find an existing space and you copy it. So you click right here and you click on duplicate this space and you fill in the information. And then once you've duplicated it, that's when you copy in the code, which you're going to copy into the app.py file. So you just replace this file. So again, I know that's very quick. It's not, we're not really doing like a full class today. We're just kind of doing a quick demo, but that's what you do, right? So, and then the questions on the cost of the trainings, they vary. So if you want, I have a $9 training that kind of just goes back through this process, kind of step by step. It's a little bit slower. And then I have trainings that we do live that are several $100s, where we're actually working together as a group, and you have a chance to work with me live over the course of a week or so. And there's two versions of that where you can either copy tools that I've already built, so that kind of saves the step of having to code it from scratch. But I do have a course where you learn to fully develop these from scratch. And we go over the marketing of them and how to capture leads with them and where to put them and all that kind of stuff too. So I'll tell you what, I mean, I think, Robert will put some stuff out in the newsletter, obviously. But if you're like chomping at the bit and you want some of that set information right now, I'm just gonna put my email in the chat there. Just send me an email and I can send you some more details on the options.
I definitely, I don't push products at all, unless I like experience them or see the value, is guys like Nick's not paying me anything, um, as far as I know.
Yeah, right.
If you are, I'm not getting it.
Oh, shoot,
Um,
didn't show up yet, huh?
yeah. But guys, I really would just, this goes back to what I've been teaching you for as long as I've been coaching you, which is just solve the problems of your clients. And this is just helping you to do it better and faster. And also, I'm always telling you to protect your time. If you keep answering the same question over and over again, just build a tool that answers it for you and leads you to the next conversation, sets you up for the next conversation, right? That's what I'm just trying to help you do here. Okay. That's what you need to be able to do to compete because AI is happening and And as many businesses as possible are trying to adapt it. And, I'll speak for my brokerage, right? We're adapting AI faster than any other brokerage out there. And because of that, that's helping our agents succeed. Well, what happens when all brokerages come with that mindset? Now, all the agents in your area are going to have brokerages that are trying to get them to use tools. And who knows, they might be hiring Nick to build this tool for their brokerage. But you could be the person that already has the database, already has the trust, and already has the closings. That's all I'm trying to set you up for. I just want you to be ahead. You don't have to do this, but I want you to have the opportunity to actually be ahead, not learn about it years later when everybody else has already done it and you're just trying to catch up. Okay. All right. We'll do the Facebook post like we always do. We'll tag Nick in it, and you got his email in the chat as well. But yeah, we'll do the Facebook post. You can ask questions, tag him in the group. He's awesome. Nick, thank you as always for being here. This is super cool. And I just love it. And guys, we'll be doing a recap next week of all the 3 trainings we did with Nick. This will be the first time we've ever had a recap being the same guest. Um, but we'll do a recap again because I just don't want you to miss on it, and it'll be awesome.
Cool.
Um, we'll do the prompt probably in the Facebook group as well. Maybe Nick or something will drop it, or wherever we can
Sure.
drop
Yeah,
the
I'll send it to you. You can
resources.
put it
We'll tag you in a
wherever's
post,
helpful.
and you can drop stuff
Yeah.
or whatever you want to do. So
Cool.
we'll take good care of you guys. Appreciate you all. Let's go crush it, and I can't wait to see what you build.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Bye, guys.